Hey guys, it's Jodi here, and I am so excited to introduce to you today Greg Ballard, former mayor of Indianapolis, who is running on a new party for Secretary of State. So I'm excited to have the conversation. Thanks so much, Mayor Ballard, for coming.
Good to be here. Thank you so much.
Yay, yay. So I'm just fascinated. I have been so excited about meeting you and hearing why on earth you decided to do something crazy, like start a whole new party in Indiana. But I think it's exciting.
Well, thanks. Actually, I wasn't the originator of the idea. I'm not against the idea, obviously. But there's a guy named Nathan Gotch who's been working on this long before I got involved with it, maybe a year before I got involved with it, with a group called Independent Indiana.
Okay.
Raised a little bit of money to do some polling about how people really felt, like what were the real issues in Indiana, and why are we kind of getting a little bit polarized, and people are saying these strange things now, and they're toxic and heated rhetoric and all of this, and it really came down to, he didn't think, and I now agree with it after especially looking at the data, that we don't have competitive general elections.
Right.
10% of the population in May determines 95% of the legislature.
That's
every
true.
time.
Yes.
Every time. So 10%. What's going to happen in November, other than in this race, has largely been decided.
Right.
And by what happened in May.
Right.
And I don't think that's healthy for the state. It's certainly not healthy for the country either. But because of gerrymandering, and that has been throughout all states, almost all states in the union, not all of them, but both Democrats and Republicans are doing gerrymandering. Of course, we've gerrymandered here for the Republicans, and you just saw that they wanted to redistrict again, so that they got 9-0, even though only 30% of people in Indiana identify themselves as Republicans. Actually 29%, 30% see themselves as Republicans, and yet they want 9-0 in the U.S. House.
Okay, so what percentage identifies as Democrat then?
21.
21. So it's just an 8-point spread.
41% see themselves as independent.
Wow.
Now, this is really interesting. The split in the country and the state, frankly, is 50-50, but it's not Republican and Democrat. The 50-50 is 50% identify themselves as one of the two major parties, 50% identify themselves as independents, as not belonging to a party. Okay. That's the split in the country. But this 50% of the independents have nowhere to go.
Right.
Because the two major parties have been nominating, so eventually when they go into the ballot box, they only have two choices. And I'm sure you've done this, I've done this. You get in there and say, really? These are my two choices? This is all I got?
Yeah.
And so if half, certainly in Indiana, 41% or above, see themselves as independents, where are they going to go?
Right.
They don't like their choices either.
Right.
And so there's a lane there, if you will, where we want to provide good people, people that should be proud to have in office, practical problem-solving people. That's who we want to run on the what we're calling independent right now. Will become the Lincoln Party. I assume you may not know why. Your audience may not know why we have to do the Lincoln Party. But.
Okay, this is why I want to talk about this. This is why I've been so excited, because you are doing something that is historic. It truly is. I don't know. I mean, we've got the Libertarian Party, but it hasn't gained a lot of traction.
Right.
But what you are building here is something that every Hoosier should be excited about, whether you identify as a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. So go ahead and tell why you are doing this.
So we are doing this because we think there should be competitive general elections. For instance, this is the race that it will be competitive this fall.
Right.
The other ones for the legislature really aren't. They've already been decided. They were decided in May.
Right.
This one is not, and we think that's healthy.
Right.
No matter the outcome, we think that's healthy. So I had to go get those 37,000 signatures.
Yeah, so a lot of our people, most of our people that are going to be watching are from West Central Indiana. So they're not part of the Indianapolis market. A lot of people are not aware at all about what you've had to go through to even be on the ballot. So can you walk through that?
So we have to, by Indiana law, if you want to run for this office, and I'll tell you why that's important in this office.
Yes.
You have to get 2% of the total votes from the previous race.
Okay.
That comes out to 36,943, 37,000 signatures. So why this race is important, because all ballot access, all voter choice into the future for every other race in the state of Indiana is determined by the Secretary of State vote.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
For instance, we win this, one of the other parties kind of has to move aside a little bit.
That's right.
In lots of areas.
That's right.
So this is very interesting for a lot of people. So it took somebody with some name ID.
Right.
And
a Republican, let's face it.
A Republican, that's correct, who was able to have sufficient, I'll just say name ID at this point in time,
right.
that could get those signatures, but it cost us over $700,000.
Yeah.
And so we had to hire, in the time frame we had to hire a signature gathering firm, a national one that does these things all over the country. They're in Montana, they're in California, they're everywhere. And so we hired that firm to do this. The good thing is they said, especially in central Indiana, where I'm a little bit more known, obviously, they said this was the easiest signature they ever got.
Oh, good.
When they said it was Greg Ballard. But the reason we have to get those signatures, that's the state law. But if I wanted to run again in 4 years,
you'd have to get those signatures.
I have to get the signatures again, unless you form a party.
Right.
So if you get 2% of the vote, which I think we'll do easily, you will have a party formed, and we're going to name it the Lincoln Party. In fact, when you vote this year, it'll say Lincoln Party right there.
Oh, it does. Okay.
It'll say Lincoln Party right there. It won't say Independent. It'll say Lincoln Party right there.
Okay.
10% we're in the primary system.
Right.
So all the polls that we know of so far are well above all of that. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to predict anything, but that's why we have to do that, because the interesting thing about this is that there have been individuals from both parties who've already come to us, who know what we're doing, saying, I want to talk to you after this race.
Yeah.
Either current office holders or people who are no longer office holders but still want to serve the public. That's really interesting. So instead of one person who can win a race in this gerrymandered state, Northwest Indiana, Indianapolis, one person can win, the Democrat who wins the primary. The rest of the state, generally speaking, the Republican's going to win because of the gerrymandering. So this can change all of that.
Right.
So if we put let's say Indianapolis, if we put a left-leaning Lincoln Party person in there to run for mayor, then all of a sudden we have two people who are competitive right there, but then the Republican comes into play, because you don't have to have a majority, it's a plurality.
Right.
So 3 people come into play. We could do that at every race in the state. State legislators are probably not going the way you want them to go.
Right.
We put a Lincoln Party person into that race, somebody you'd be proud of, somebody who's known locally, who can raise money, who can win the race. We want somebody who can win the race. Then we put them in there, and all of a sudden we got 3 people competitive in that race, not just one. That changes everything.
It does.
It changes absolutely everything, and all of a sudden the 2 major parties are going to have to start rethinking their extreme ideology, their purity tests that are very open and public right now. All that's going to have to change.
Yeah.
If they want that, if we do this correctly, that's going to happen, and all of a sudden those 41 to 50% people who see themselves as independents, rational, practical, I want my government to work kind of people, they're not going to be represented.
Right. Everybody who wants good government should be excited and about this new party.
I have a reputation for doing the right thing for the right reasons, and I do it for the people. I govern for the. I won as a Republican in a Democratic city, a heavily Democratic city, but everybody knew I governed for everybody. I didn't govern for just the people who voted for me. Everybody knew that, and I will do the same thing here. I will govern for everybody. I will do what's in the best interest of the state long term. That's what I will be doing in this race. That's the whole point of it, because it's hard for party regulars to hear this, but frankly, both parties are now serving themselves. They are not serving the people anymore. They are serving themselves. And I've said a million times, and I'll continue to say it, the people in office no longer make decisions or vote for the people. They vote to make sure they win the next primary.
That's right.
They try to win the next primary. They're not trying to serve the people or vote for the people. They don't want to be primary the next time, because that's now the main race in American elections, which is horrible.
Right.
Horrible.
Right.
We should have competitive general elections in November. But right now, both parties are voting to not get primaried the next time out.
So going back to your name ID, I was telling somebody last week, you and maybe Mitch Daniels were the only ones who could have done this. Started a new party, because you guys both had the name ID, and let's face it, you can get financial backing, because, like you said, this isn't cheap. Just getting the signatures isn't cheap.
No, but we did start from scratch. We didn't have the donor base in front of us. We kind of had to grow the donor base. I did know a couple people. There were some people very interested, but it's Democrats and Republicans previously have put money into this thing.
Everything that you're saying, everything that you're saying, I see firsthand, because I got involved in politics in 2008, 2009, and through there somewhere. And I've always been a grassroots person, and I feel like we have gotten away from governing for the people.
I agree.
I feel like the people are getting squeezed out of decision making. And I'm not saying every candidate, I'm not saying every race, but it's too much to feel comfortable with as an American.
I agree. There are good people in office right now.
Right.
But some of the good people that kind of stood up last time, you just saw them get primaried out.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of one decision that they made, and they just got primaried out because that's what people do now. That's a real problem. It's lots of good people that I know got out of politics because it's gotten so toxic and so much. And bullying is not too strong a word.
It's
not too strong a word.
I agree.
And what's happening within the parties.
Right.
And
it's at all levels of government, not just federal.
That's right. Not just state either. I mean, down.
So
I say they're opting out.
Right.
I'm opting in.
Right.
I'm coming back in.
I like that.
Just for this race, just to do this.
Yes.
I'm coming back in because I'm hoping that what I can bring, I hope people could see what I'm trying to bring is so necessary in the state of Indiana and for politics in general.
Right.
Because we have to get back to people who actually serve, we have to get people in office who serve the citizens again and not the parties.
Right.
And it is real, just recently, oh my heavens, I can't believe what's happening. Redistricting, for one. 30% of the people now want all nine seats, right? Then the nominee, the Republican nominee, when he wins, he says, I want closed primaries, which means, okay, 10% of the people now want the other 90% to pay for their little exclusive club every year, which is about $10 million for every primary.
Right.
You can't vote,
right?
But we want you to pay for this.
Right.
That's what he said. And then just recently, we saw that a large faction of the Republican Party actually wants to subpoena people on their votes and why they voted. You know, this is America, right?
Right.
This is America. And yet those three things have all happened in the first 7 months of this year.
Right.
And I hope people of Indiana see this for what it is. This is a clear pattern of what's going on, of marginalizing the voter in Indiana to restrict their choices, to not get the people in office that they want. It's a pattern, and it's obvious to me. I hope it's obvious to people now, the way I just said that. Three big things happened in the first 7 months, and you just saw, I mean, it's happening right in front of you.
Right. Right. I understand what it is that you're talking about, but I think a lot of people in our area, because we're not in the Indianapolis market, they may not be aware of what you're really referencing. Right. So right now, 80% of Hoosiers cannot run for a political office because you have to have a vote history in the primary, two different primaries showing
consecutive primaries,
to run as a Republican or to run as a Democrat. What you're doing here, though, you're opening up another lane. So, okay, let's let's put it into reference. Let's say, okay, I-70 right now, you got 2 lanes eastbound, 2 lanes westbound. This is like adding in a 3rd lane.
Right.
To, eastbound and westbound.
So you're right, 1 in 5 people. This is shocking numbers.
Yeah.
The average person doesn't know this. 1 in 5 registered voters can actually run for office, as you just said.
That's crazy.
1 in 5. So right there, the choices are restrictive.
I don't think that's what our founding fathers intended.
I don't think so at all. So what we are able to do, because I had to go get 37,000 signatures.
And can you tell people how many you actually gathered what it dwindled down to?
We turned in 74,000.
Okay.
And we wound up having 41,000 approved. That number started to dwindle near the end, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
The percentage started to dwindle near the end.
Oh, wow.
It was 70% of it, which is what we were expecting, and then all of a sudden it fell off. But we won't talk there.
Okay.
We got the signatures.
Okay.
But what will happen in the future for all these other independent people, because it'll be called the Lincoln Party, but it will be for independent people.
Okay.
So all these people who want to run as independents, who want to actually serve the people, whether they were former Democrats or former Republicans or just somebody, as long as they're good people who want to serve, we're going to talk to them about it. And they don't have to go get signatures.
Right.
Because previously they would have had to get some sort of signature requirement, not the one I had to get. So we kind of did this for everybody else.
Right.
Over the next few years, so they don't have to do this. They don't have to pay somebody or take a lot of time out of their campaign or use their campaign funds to go get signatures. You can come to us.
Yeah.
And we have that lane open for you. And the 1 in 5 number is crazy.
It is crazy.
And we now provide an opportunity to change that.
Yeah. So one of the things as an outsider looking in, because this is the first time I've met Mayor Ballard. I mean, you walked in the door, we started having a conversation.
You're pretty famous.
No. But from an outsider, not having met you, this was my conception about it, about what you're doing. You're 70 years old. You don't have to do this.
I do not.
You've got a good name right now. Who knows what will happen throughout, this general election. What will happen to your name, But you are doing this for subsequent Hoosier generations to be able to have that 3rd lane, to be able to run.
So here's the irony of all this, right? Somebody like me would probably... Maybe the office is irrelevant, but in fact, I'm the only experienced person in this race, right?
But you know what? Everybody says that.
No, but in this case, look at it. That's really true. So I actually am the only experienced, because they're all treating it like entry-level job. Okay, that's fine. I kind of get that. But you're right when you say this is, and my campaign team hates it when I say this. This is not about me. I'll do the job well.
Not, right.
I will do that job well, and it needs to be cleaned out in there, and we all know that. And I'm capable of doing that. I've done that sort of thing before. But this is for the future generations.
Right.
I was just fine, but this opportunity to have the impact throughout the state of Indiana into the future was too good to pass up. It was too important to me. The potential impact of this is massive.
It is.
It's massive. And that's why I hope people really look at this and come my way and vote my way, because it's not just this race that you're helping. You're helping everybody else in the future, helping that Indiana become a much more reasonable state, somebody that a legislature that will serve the people and not the parties. That's what this is about. Into the future, not just this race, into the future. And we provide this path for them to do this. It's really important. And when you look at it longer term, we are not where the founders expected us to be at this point in time. In fact, I was just watching Netflix, the last episode of the American Experiment last night, where in Washington's farewell address about how parties can make this all go awry.
That's right.
And it probably not so bad for a long time, but bad now. Bad now because both parties have figured out how to restrict choice. And they're doing it in Indiana. They're certainly doing it in other states too. Both parties are doing it. And that's not what we're supposed to be. 1 in 5 people, really?
Right.
Then you only get 2 choices out of the ballot box, and you just shake your head like, oh my, what is this?
Yeah.
And that has to change. This is that opportunity. This is actually that opportunity here in the state of Indiana to change this.
And you're number one. I mean, Secretary of State office is at the top of the ballot this year.
It is.
And how often does that happen? It doesn't happen very often.
It's very rare because you don't have a Senate race on
Right.
there. So that's, one out of every 3 cycles on that one alone. But also the governor's race is obviously off cycle too. But this is part of the reason this kind of works this time.
Yeah.
And problematic incumbent, top of the ticket, people are paying attention to it. I ask the reporters all the time, I said, have you ever covered a Secretary of State race like this before? They said, we never covered this race.
Right.
But now they are.
Right.
Because we're in this race and because they know the potential impact of all this too. And so this will be interesting, but I hope people really look at this as a way to, not just this year, but into the future, can change the tenor of our politics and take down the toxicity, can make people vote for the people again instead of the parties.
So this is something that, unless you're really into politics and really into the weeds, you may not be aware of this, but at your local level, you have an election board, and you have a Democrat and a Republican that serves on that election board along with your elected county clerk.
Right.
Same sort of thing happens at the state level too.
Right.
And the reason why it's a Republican and a Democrat is because it's the top 2 vote getters for Secretary of State. Who the people in that county. But right. So let's say, you're in, Orange County or something.
Right,
you're running Orange County, which you are. But let's say that you're the top vote getter and, either the Republican or the Democrat is the second vote getter in that county. Then that county election board is made up of a representative of the Lincoln Party and a representative of whoever came in second.
That's right.
Whichever party came in second.
Right.
So this is something that, the Republican Party and Democrat Party don't want you to really know. They're fearful of it, but they really don't. They really kind of want to keep it to themselves.
Right.
That if Greg Ballard in your county comes in first or second, then that changes your county election board, and same thing at the state level.
Right.
So that's where it's a huge, huge change.
And in most cases, they need to be changed. They absolutely need to be changed. And that's part of the reason we're doing this.
Right. It's just more choice, for Hoosiers. I think it's really exciting. Now you get to hear me preach a little bit, like Bo Bai and Max Engling got to hear me preach. But I've been doing a little bit of research for the last year and a half on elections in Indiana, because we didn't used to have a primary system in Indiana. It was 1915 that the primary election law came into play. It was the Democrats who pushed it, and the Republican platform, they were against it. There were like in 1910, 1912, 1914, there were anywhere from 5 to 8 different parties in Indiana that had platforms. They all picked their candidates at conventions. All of those other party platforms, except for the Democrat Party, I think the Socialist Party was for the primary law. Okay. But the Republican Party and all the other parties were against it. Even after, in the 1916 platforms in Indiana, the Republican Party, they didn't want to get rid of it, but they totally wanted to reform it. But still, that 10% threshold to be a primary party was in place in 1915. That hasn't changed. Right. So I spoke with one of your opponents last week, and I said to him, if we'd lowered that threshold to 4%, maybe a closed primary, maybe, but not at 10%. I just think that, I think we really screwed up back in 1915, and we're seeing, it's kind of built upon itself that, we are where we are in politics today, because it watered down both parties.
Anything that can open up ballot access so that more good people can run is something we need to be doing.
Right.
And it's getting worse. It's actually going the opposite way.
Right.
And that absolutely has to change. There are so many good people who want to run, and they just don't want to put their family through it, or they want to do this or this and this. But frankly, the toxicity right now that both parties are doing is what's keeping most people out. They don't want to get involved with it. They don't want dad to be called this horrible name, or mom to be called this horrible name,
or their kids to hear it at school or whatever.
When I ran for mayor the first time, the Democrats, some of the bloggers came after my wife, and my wife cried at night. Right? And I had to think about what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So that actually happened, and it happens, I think, now routinely.
Yeah.
So that keeps people away, and we don't want people to be kept away. We want people to get involved. We want people to run for office.
Right.
A large reason why I'm doing this also is I was talking to college students. I like to talk to them all the time, and I was telling them that if you want to affect change, then you have to get in the game. You have to run for office. You got to help somebody run for office. It doesn't happen by itself. You got to do something about that.
The other thing, since we have this primary election thing too, that I have noticed from 1915. In our county, Clay County, we had 35,000 people in the 1910 census. That was before women had the right to vote. That was whenever the voting age for men was 21. Mm-hmm. So we had 7,600 registered voters in Clay County. Would you like to guess how many people voted in 1908 in the general election out of that
75%?
I didn't do the percentage, but it was 7,300.
Wow.
So only about 300 people chose not to vote.
Wow.
In the general election, because they didn't have the primary system.
Yeah.
So I feel like our voter turnout has gotten worse too. So people are concerned about voter turnout, and that's not just an outlier. I looked at 1908 through 1916, and that was, they were all right there, just, a couple hundred people not participating.
The elections are determined in May, so why show up in November?
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Another part of it is they don't know who they're voting on. So one of the things I want to do that other states do, and we've actually, you'll see one of these here shortly, put together a voter's guide.
Okay.
And make sure that it's in the hands of the voters before they go to the ballot box. So voting is faster because you'll know what you're doing.
Yes.
Who these, and they're going to be able to put in their own little blurb about themselves. You know who the candidates are, where to vote, what are the cycles for voting 30 days or ahead of it, and where to vote and all that. We don't have anything like that. Other states do.
Yeah.
We do not, and we've already roughed one out pretty nicely that I think will. People might be a little surprised at, but I think.
How will this get in the hands of people?
We're going to push it to them.
Okay.
We want to push it to them. We think it's about $4 million a year.
Okay.
And we think we can do it in the Secretary of State's office unless the legislature decides to take that.
Yeah.
But so people say, well, that's a lot of money. Yeah, it is. It's one penny for every $100 that the state spends.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So is it that much money compared to other things, especially if you're going to have closed primaries and spend $10 million on that? Which so you have to think about those things and what's really best for the voter. How do we get the voter out is one thing, but I would suggest to you that the primaries where everything is decided, most everything is decided. That's disheartening to say that, but that's where it is. So they don't show up in November. But if we give them 3 candidates that can win this race, not one, then they have something in their hands saying, oh, this is what these people are about, and where can I go vote, and all of those things. I'm hoping that has some impact.
So it's interesting that you say that, because in our county, we put out a magazine for the primary, and it did exactly what you were saying. But, for Republican voters,
right.
I love it. I applaud it. The magazine was very cheap to do, and it's a nice full color magazine. I got one in the back. I'll show you what it looked like. But I love that idea, because I think that people are not informed, but you give them the information. Seriously, our country was set up that the power would be in the hands of the voters.
Of the voters.
And
that's right.
We have let that power be usurped. And
No question.
And we've given it away to, for the most part, because we haven't been as involved as we should be. But it's really important that we are involved and that we're informed,
Right.
being informed voters. So I love that idea. Okay, so let's talk about the Lincoln Party, because this is, whenever I first heard about it, I was trying to wrap my head around, okay, what's the platform going to be? Because I'm a big word person. And so I still identify, even though I stepped down as vice chair, I still identify as a Republican because of the platform, except for the newest plank in the Republican Indiana platform. But anyway, I still identify with that. And the Lincoln Party, are you guys going to have a platform, or how's that going to work?
Very common question for me.
Yeah.
So the answer in the short term is no.
Okay.
Again, going back to the founding of the country, we didn't have parties. There were no platforms, right? So it's kind of interesting because I get asked that because everybody says, well, these are the two boxes.
Right.
Well, maybe we don't want those two boxes, right?
It's a paradigm shift, so that's why people are struggling with it.
Plus, it's not like either major party, follows their platform or their principles anyway. We're going to wind up where people are.
Yeah.
The 41 to 50% of the independents are where they just want government to work. They want to do the right thing for the right reasons. We'll be fiscally responsible. There's no question about that. And that makes a lot of sense to almost everybody when you talk to them like that. But are we going to put these boxes in them? No, because we're expecting that we are going to find Democrats and Republicans who are going to like what we're doing, and we're hoping to find candidates, former Republicans, or maybe they're going to be Lincoln Party Democrats. Who knows? Or Lincoln Party Republicans, right? Both. That will be somebody, especially on a local level, that you would know. Right. Somebody you'd like to have into office, right? So you don't have to go to somebody else, but somebody who's been doing good work in the city, somebody who's held office before, but they can't say this. Right. The Republicans want me to say this, the Democrats want me to say this, and I just can't say that, and so they're out. That person. Yes. Because they're going to do the right thing for you. Right. For you, the voter. And that's what we want. So we don't want to necessarily put ourselves in a box right off the bat, because we're looking for the high quality individual, the practical problem solving person, somebody that locally, somebody you'd be proud to have in there, somebody that will serve you. Right. So we don't necessarily want to put that box on them. So how are you going to go about finding those quality candidates? They're coming to us right now. Okay. They are. But I think once they see what we are going to be able to do in November, and that there's structure behind this afterwards, no matter what, there's already, no matter what happens to me, there's structure on it afterwards. Then I think we'll have a few people coming to us, maybe lots of people, but to be frank with you, we're going to be pretty choosy. We want people who can win. We want people that will actually serve the people. We want a man or a woman who's going to actually serve. Not running for local office for the insurance that they get. That's right. Because but locally, this could have enormous impact. Now, here's a stat that you probably didn't know. Okay. So let me ask you were in the system. How many independents have run in the last 2 cycles in Indiana? All of Indiana. How many people do you think have run? Well, before you got here, I looked up to see what numbers. What the numbers were. So I know that there was one guy that was a write-in candidate on the Disability Party that got 36 votes for Secretary of State. Other than that, I wouldn't know any independents really that had ran. So I only know that because I was looking. 244. 244, and how? 240. Most people, when you talk to like former Republican state chairs, they'd say 50, maybe 40. 244. 244. Independents have run in the state the last 2 cycles. How many have won? Wow, none. How many won? None. 52%. Are you kidding me? 52%. 52%. So they're running at the local level. The local level. People know them. And these aren't Mayor Strick, Huntington. Well, school boards are just former Republican councilor, ran as an independent for mayor, won. Okay. Ran for re-election against a far right Republican won
Okay.
in Huntington.
Okay.
Lots of those people out there. They're commissioners, they're counselors, they're this and that.
Okay.
And but isn't that shocking?
That is shocking.
244 and 52% have won.
Wow.
In the last 2 cycles. So this is not unknown territory throughout the state. It's unknown territory at the state level. But people have been comfortable with who they have voted for as independents.
Yeah.
And every one of them had to go get signatures.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Maybe not now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not now.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Isn't
it.
that's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah, it is shocking.
Yeah.
I do think that it's going to take people who have identified as Republican or Democrat a while to chew on the fact of not having a platform. That's going to take a little bit. And so, you know, from my understanding, unless the law has changed since 1915, but the 1915 primary law said that once you have 10%, then you have to, by law, have a party apparatus at the state level. So you have to have, you know, your party chair, all those officers. You have to have at the congressional districts, you know, the districts, you got to have that, and at the county.
Right.
So is that still true, that if you get over 10%, it has to build out?
I know
a whole
we're in
party?
the primary after that, but I don't know that we have to build it out throughout the sate immediately.
See if that
I don't
has
think
changed.
so, but I am hoping that's. I'm sure that's changed. But to be frank, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have people ready to go.
Yeah.
We do have some folks behind. Like I said, this is not a one-off thing.
Yeah.
It's the initial entry point.
Right.
But this is not a one-off thing.
Right.
That's not the intent at all.
How did you get involved in politics to begin with?
Oh my God. So. Actually, my kids were in college, so we were empty nesters at that point in time, mid-2000s. And I was just getting the urge, like, I'm going to be part of something bigger than myself. I spent 23 years in the Marines. I was in the Persian Gulf War. And I enjoyed being part of something that was bigger than I was. And I was missing that. And so that urge was there. And then I was thinking, should I run for Congress? But I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew who I was. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything. I mean, you'd be shocked at how little I knew. You really would be shocked at how little I knew. But I had 2 gentlemen who came to me and said, listen, you have the skill set to become the mayor of Indianapolis. You have that skill set. You need to look at this. And so I did. And through a series of, that can only be called absolutely hysterical iterations, I became the mayor. I mean, I became the candidate for mayor as a Republican in a Democratic city. It was comic sausage making at its finest. It really was. But all of a sudden I'm there, and I knew that I was put in there to lose by 30 to 40 points. I knew that. I mean, I could walk and chew gum, and so I wasn't going to embarrass anybody. But I knew I was supposed to lose by 30 to 40 points. Well, that didn't happen. My opponent, good guy actually, spent $4 million. I didn't have $4 million. Right. I didn't have anything. And the most I ever had in the bank, I think, was $200,000, and that was the last 2 weeks of the campaign, when people were starting to figure out, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah.
With a month to go, council candidates had more money in the bank than I had. I'm not exaggerating that. They did.
And there was no polling in that race, right? Because you can afford polling.
On their side, they had $4 million bucks. Not on my side.
Yeah. And they don't share that information.
No, they don't. They did not share that information. But I had a sense that something was up, and very similar to today, by the way. But I had a sense back in 2007 that something's up, and I had in the last couple of months, I had over 100 Democrats, not an exaggeration, over 100 Democrats come up and whisper in my ear or say something very similar to this. I've never voted for a Republican in my life, and I'm voting for you. And I thought, there's a lot of people telling me that.
Yeah.
And there was a sense, and they made some mistakes. I didn't really make a mistake. Of course, I wasn't on TV. I had no money.
Yeah.
It's because I had no money. I couldn't do. I eventually did, but I'll tell you why in a second. But I was just going to business group meetings. I was going to neighborhood meetings. That's all I was doing because I had no money. I could get on the phone and call people, and everybody's just kind of laughing at me, like, no, you're going to lose. I'm not going to waste my money on you.
Yeah.
That was kind of the feeling. They were nice about it, but that's kind of what they were saying. And so I've got no money in this thing, and all of a sudden, they made some really serious mistakes in the 3 to 4 months before the race, and all of a sudden all these things are starting to turn. But I have no data to support that because I have no money. I'm not polling. I don't have any money polling. All of a sudden, this is the strangest thing in the world. I'm walking down the street near downtown Indianapolis. A guy comes up and says, "Are you Greg Ballard?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Here's $2,000." I'm not kidding.
Wow.
I had a gentleman send me a check for $10,000. I didn't know him at all. He just sent me a check for $10,000, like 2 or 3 weeks before the election. Yeah. And I called him. I said, "Thank you for this. This is really necessary. I can't thank you enough." That's all I said. Thank you. Yeah. The next day, I get another check for $10,000 from the same guy.
And you were mayor during what years?
8 to 16. My last day was January 1st of 16.
Okay. So. Okay. I remember it because I worked for the Indiana Republican Party for a bit, and you were mayor then, and you were the darling. I mean, having worked at the party, and not so much right now.
It's funny how you go from the darling to the devil, just like that.
One decision, you're there.
Right.
So I asked your opponents about their negatives, because I feel like everybody should have the chance to, address their own negatives. As far as things that you've done, I haven't heard a whole lot of negatives. This is the thing that I have, I think you'll have the biggest trouble with, okay? Rural areas. Because you're an Indianapolis mayor. You grew up in Indianapolis, so you're an Indianapolis person. So for people like us, it's like, I gotta go to Indy, And so how do you win people that, are more rural, that kind of think of, the big city as being a negative, and you being the leader of a big city, no matter how great you may have governed, but a lot of people in the rural areas weren't thrilled with the blue Indy. I'll just tell you that. So how do you govern, or how do you reach people in the rural areas?
It's interesting. I think the Marine Corps helps out quite a bit, to be frank. But also, in the early polling, when they started this, when Nathan was thinking of this, and he was trying to find somebody who could fill the bill here. Right. I polled above 20% in every area of the state. Every area of the state. Okay. And believe it or not, I was leading in the 18 to 34 demographic, which I find fascinating.
That is fascinating.
And this was
because they don't even remember you being mayor.
Yeah, and this 18 to 34 demographic in October, November of last year.
Okay.
But that tells me, not necessarily, it's not me.
Yeah.
They're disillusioned with the parties.
Yes.
Which bothers me because people under 40 have never seen the government work. And I think we should understand that and what that looks like in 20 more years when they're running everything.
Yeah.
They've never seen the government work, and it really bothers me. College students don't even know what all this is because they've never seen it. All they see is people screaming at each other. So that's bothersome. Even if you may not like me particularly for this or this or this, this is the opportunity to change that in your neighbor, in your locality, in your city, in your state, in your county, whatever that might be. And I hope they understand that also. But I don't seem to have any problem. We talked to actually we brought in some farmers into Noblesville maybe 6-8 months ago and talked to them quite a bit, and they were very disturbed by what was going on with the Republican Party. Okay. And we're very open to this. And we've talked to a couple of people, and we'll talk to more as we go forward. But for some reason, I seem to get along with everybody pretty well.
Yeah, you're very personable.
Well, I mean,
you're easy to talk to, and you don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, you joke about yourself. I mean, and people can joke with you, but you're a serious guy. But you're not pretentious at all.
Yeah,
and
I like to think it's the potato thing. I just kind of get along with everybody, right? Everybody's lived a different life. Everybody comes at it from a different angle, and I understand all of that. And I don't want to put anybody in a box. I don't want to judge anybody on their worst day.
Right.
None of that applies to any of this. So, and just how I'm built now, and I like to think that this is what Indiana needs right now, frankly.
You grew up in Indianapolis. I don't know if Cowboy Bob was on whenever you were growing up.
I remember Cowboy Bob. Okay. And Janie.
Yeah, and Janie. Yep. And Cowboy Bob always ended, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So whenever you're at this table and you have an opponent, we're gonna channel our inner Cowboy Bob. So Bo and Max have both been here before you, so they got this question. Okay. Say something that you admire about Bo.
He's a nice young gentleman. He is. There's no question about that. And he carries himself really well. And he's just a really, really kind, polite gentleman. So I like that about him. I can't say anything about Max. I don't know him. I've never met the guy in my life. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I suppose somewhere along the way I'll meet him. But I mean, he was kind of came out of nowhere, right?
He said that whenever you were mayor, he was something with the Marion County Party.
Maybe I don't
know.
Maybe, but I don't remember. Okay. I don't know anything about Max. I've never met the guy.
And Lori Schillings.
Never met her either. Okay. I hope to meet her.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what Bo Max said about you.
Okay.
Then. So Bo, because you're a Marine, he admired your service and what you did in Indianapolis. So
appreciate
his
that.
Was good. And Max said that he agreed with a lot of what you did your first term.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, in Greg Ballard world, what would elections look like? If it could be, you wake up in your dream world of elections.
I would like to have 4 or 5 people on the ballot in November for each race, and all of them being competitive and having to make the case. That's what I would like. Then I think the offices would become more representative of where the people actually are. That's what I think should happen. It would be easier for people to run for office. It would not be so punitive. What we had to go through was absolutely punitive, purposely punitive. And but we've cleared that path for those in the future. Hopefully, that's the intent at least. So I want more better people. I want the good person to take 8 to 10 years out of their life and serve in some way. And then be able to go back to their life. I think that was the original intent also when America was founded. Right,
exactly.
And so I'd like for that to happen also. The restrictions right now are terrible, getting worse. And so when people vote, I want them to be able to have the chance to vote for multiple people. I want them to know who they're voting about, who's actually running for office, and have some idea of what they're about. Lots of people running, and frankly, I think we should allow referendums in the state. Also, I think if the legislature still is not doing what the people want, then the people should have the ability to begin a referendum to be at the ballot box the next time.
Let's do some rapid fire.
Okay.
All right. So, whenever you're listening to something, is it music, podcast, audiobook?
None right now, actually.
Okay.
Usually, the only time I listen to anything by itself is in the car, and it's talk radio.
All right. What book has most impacted your life?
I would say 2 recent ones that I think I think people should read are *Sapiens*, and then *Enlightenment Now*, and that author is Steven Pinker. *Enlightenment Now* is interesting in lots of ways because he's a Harvard professor, a pretty well-known guy. And he has 500-600 pages of going against what is the current narrative, because I've always believed the world is getting so much better every day, and people don't even know it. They think that because the narrative is just the opposite.
Right.
It's just the opposite. But combat deaths are down historically. Nuclear weapons are down 85% from their peaks. The Medicare care is off the charts. The IQ scores are rising. Sanitation across the world is so much better now. So many people have come off extreme poverty. Extraordinary number, 700 million. It's just crazy. It's getting so much better. And he makes the point that, fortunately, my Republican friends will hate me to say this, but President Obama once said very recently, if you were ever to pick a time in human history to live, today would be that day.
Right.
That is
Air
still
conditioning alone is enough for
yes,
me.
and medical care. I mean, how many of us would be alive today?
Right.
I've had strep throat twice. Used to die from strep throat not so long ago, and the medical care by itself is extraordinary.
What's the basis of your worldview?
The basis of my worldview, I think we ought to do our best to ensure that people can thrive where they are.
Okay.
That's and I think that I mean that worldwide, because then it would be a much more peaceful world. As somebody who's been in combat, I want a more peaceful world, and I've thought about what that looks like and how do we get there. And I think ensuring that people have the basics and that they have the ability to thrive in whatever that means within the particular country or culture, I think would lead to a more peaceful world.
What's your life's motto?
That's a really good question, but it's very recent, actually, probably the last 20 years. Be kind.
Okay, all right. And what attributes do you want to be remembered by? Whenever your dead body's in the casket, what do you want people saying?
He did the right thing for the right reasons.
Awesome. Okay, so I have been told that you are a very plain eater, that you don't like very many things.
I would tell you that everybody says, no, I'm the pickiest eater, and when we go down the list, I always win.
Oh. So we're doing baked potatoes today.
I thought that is about as plain as you could possibly get, and I do like potatoes. I do like baked potatoes.
And
with butter only.
And let's face it, whenever you're on the brat diet after you've had an upset stomach, I mean, potatoes is on that, so that's pretty plain.
It is.
So,
it is.
All right. Well, guys, join us in the kitchen where we'll be making some baked potatoes. All right. Mayor, let's make some potatoes.
Greg is fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Most people actually do. They call me mayor sometimes. Some still call me colonel from the Marine Corps. Lieutenant colonel, but they all still call me colonel. So it's funny.
Okay.
Nobody ever gets to Greg.
Nobody gets to Greg. Okay. All right. Well, let's see.
It's okay.
Let's see if I feel comfortable calling you Greg by the time we're done with potatoes.
Okay.
Okay. So you're a plain Janer. So not a lot of adventure with food. So let's do these.
I'm stunningly plain. I have some oddities that don't make sense, but it's usually plain meat, maybe salt and pepper.
Okay.
Maybe some barbecue sauce sometimes, but generally plain stuff and plain baked potatoes, plain mashed potatoes, that sort of thing. I'm kind of a potato guy.
Okay.
I actually was joking for 10, 20 years, drove my wife nuts, saying I was going to become a gentleman potato farmer in the mode of Oliver Douglas on Green Acres.
Oh.
That's what I wanted to be. And she did not like that idea at all. But I looked into it quite a bit, and I looked into how to grow potatoes.
You were serious.
I did. I was thinking, how can I grow this at home, and how can I do this? Can I grow my own potatoes, and can I make them taste a certain way that I really like? But that really never came to fruition.
So you decided to do something simpler and start a whole new party and run for Secretary of State.
Something like that. But even before that, being the mayor, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was even after being the mayor, I did look at it to see if can I do this at home, in some way, just in my little backyard or whatever.
Yeah.
Never did happen.
Okay.
So
we tried growing potatoes one time. It wasn't for me.
You got to go down and get them out of there.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't come up as pretty as what these are. I mean, Piazza does a great job bringing.
These are serious potatoes.
They are. So those are probably close to 1 pound because there's 50 in a 50-pound box. So
that's a serious potato right there.
That's a serious potato. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to give you this job because, hey, I'm not doing all the work around here, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to have you just wash this and scrub it with the brush. And then how about if I butter it? And because I like to butter the potatoes before I bake them. And
really?
I do.
Wow, that's interesting.
And now, that doesn't mean that they don't need butter after they're baked. It just helps them.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I like to do, I like to sprinkle a little seasoned salt on them. So
okay, we can handle that.
Yep, and I'll just dry them.
Okay.
So that way that butter goes on.
You want all of them?
Yep, let's do them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's going to eat all these, by the way?
Well, You brought some people with you, and I got my people. I got Andy
You got-
on the
you got your
camera.
people, too?
So we probably should feed these people, don't you think?
This is some serious tubers, right?
That's right. So,
So I did some research, right?
What's your genealogy background? Are you Irish by any chance?
No. So I did the 23andMe
Yeah.
quite a while back,
Okay.
and it came out. Can't remember the exact percentages, but it was like 78% Northern European
Okay.
and like 21% Scandinavian.
Okay.
And a little bit here and there, but I was essentially 99%
Yeah.
what I was. And I sent it to my kids, who, you can look at my wife and understand 50% white, 50% Filipino,
Yeah.
right? 50% Asian. I sent her, my daughter, when she got that information about me, she emailed me back and said, "Dad, you're the whitest guy I know." So I thought that was a pretty funny line. So.
Well, I thought maybe, and if you need to dry your hands, there's paper towel behind you. But anyway,
Okay,
I thought maybe you might have some Irish in you.
No, not really. I thought there might be. We do have German. My mom was quite German, and my dad was partial German, and maybe a little bit of Irish. But Ballard. It's funny. I went to a lot of festivals when I was mayor, and I kept going to the Scottish Festival because it was so much fun. And I'm apparently Ballard is part of the Macduff clan.
Really?
So I've got that. But we always thought Ballard was French.
Yeah.
The name was French, but maybe not. Maybe not. So we'll see.
All right. Now you get to jump in on the buttering
Okay.
too. So we've got some softened butter here, and
So you butter the
butter-
outside.
Yeah.
And that does what?
It makes the skin a little bit more tender. I think it gets more flavor into the middle of the potato, and that's why we're going to do the seasoned
better slow
salt
down.
too.
Because by the time I get these gloves on, you're going to be done.
I'll just rub it really gently.
I would not have made a good doctor.
Well, it's hard whenever your hands are wet, so that's that makes it hard. We struggle with that in the restaurant too. So anyway, while you're doing the struggle bus there with
that
the
one
gloves.
did. That one
Look
actually
at
went
that.
on. Look at that
your
one.
hand
That
was
one
probably drier. I'll let you do
so
the buttering.
did you do this by hand?
I just
Okay.
put a whole lot on and
Now,
on
is this
the
a
gloves.
particular kind of butter, or just this butter?
That's just butter, just plain
Okay.
butter. And then this is seasoned salt. Okay. Now I hope you're okay with this because
So where's the season?
this is a seasoned salt.
That's a dark seasoned salt.
I'm pretending that we're in a cooking show.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have it all fancy and everything.
Okay.
Here. So anyway.
Because sometimes when you get baked potatoes in a restaurant, you get lots of big, thick white salt, and all I do is scrape that all off. Not that I'm against salt; it's just seems like too much.
Yeah, too much.
But this is interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I like putting salt on it
Okay.
because I don't think it needs as much
that.
salt whenever you actually go ahead and salt it to eat it. I think that there's more flavor. Actually, we were at a restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and I had a big baked potato like this, and I couldn't eat it because there was no flavor down in it. It was just like soup. I felt like I could not put enough salt on it to give it flavor. But anyway, that's just me.
Well, the no flavor thing is kind of like right up my alley.
I know, and I'm hoping that this will fit your palate. If not, well, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
If not, how you feel about McDonald's?
I think I'd rather have this.
Okay, all right.
And I'm okay with McDonald's.
Good job.
I usually get. I go to breakfast there for 50 years now. I've gotten the hot cakes and sausage with white milk. I don't know why. Every time I go in there, it's like I'm like Pavlov's dog. As soon as I walk in there, that's what happens to me. So
that's funny. So, do you eat dessert?
Not really. It's kind of funny. We've acquired the habit as we drive around the state on this campaign of finding the best local ice cream place.
I've heard about that.
So we'll be looking here close by, either here or in Terre Haute afterwards, and to see because we have to stop there and take a picture and say something about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll do that.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, we're going to let these bake for a little bit,
Okay,
and
you can
then
do that.
we'll try. Actually, I'll tell you guys this, because I don't know if you're going to make any more baked potatoes. You may fall in love with them and want to do it at home. But anyway, $3.75. We're going to check them in about an hour, but it's really going to probably run about an hour and a half. So anyway. So, Mayor, I think our potatoes are done. I've been squeezing them with the tongs, and they seem pretty squeezable. So
They didn't need an extra layer of butter or anything like that, did they?
I did not. I did not.
Those are serious.
Right. There you go. All
right.
And then I'll let you cut into it. You're just a plain butter person.
But I can't touch this other stuff.
Oh, yeah. You know what? No sour cream, no cheese, no bacon.
Nothing good.
But I'm gonna fancy mine up a little bit. Is it
okay.
Is it tender enough? Is it? It looks like it's
It is.
slicing pretty good.
It is.
Okay.
It is, actually.
All right. So,
That's healthy.
That
It's been a long time I've seen a potato this big. So.
Well, typically this size is what we would
So.
maybe serve on the food trailer or
Yeah.
for lunch. So
So I always take one down the middle, then I do it like this.
Oh, look at that.
So that the butter seeps in.
He's scoring it. He's got a plan. He may be simple, but he's got a plan with it. So
Okay, so can we do it now?
Yep. Just dig in, and now I'm going to be a little bit different because this is something that we do, and
Okay.
I have made because we're going to have. Your wife Winnie's with you.
She is.
And David
she'll eat
and
anything.
Andy. Well, good. So I like to put like broccoli cheese soup on my potato. So I have broccoli cheese soup, and then I've got some pork too.
Some broccoli
barbecue
cheese
pork.
soup?
Yeah.
Boy, does not sound not like me at all.
I know. So you don't have to eat that. Now, okay, so we do cooking classes here sometimes. And one lady told me that because we make all of our own salad dressings, and we did a salad dressing class, and she told me that she put the blue cheese on her baked potato, and she loved it. So anyway, you're probably not a blue cheeser either. Do you eat salad?
I really don't want to answer that.
Okay. Well, you would be simple to cook for.
Can I tell you the time when I knew I was really the odd duck?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Your show won't implode if I actually say this?
No.
Okay. I want to make sure of that.
People like to know the inside dirt.
So I'm eating chicken and beef and potatoes and stuff like that, right? And I'm thinking everybody does that. Yeah, okay, because that's what I see, and that's kind of what I saw growing up. So my wife is a great cook, Filipino, cooks pancit, lumpia, fried rice, really good stuff that people kind of liked all the time. Yeah. And I said, honey, everybody eats like I do, not like that. And so one time we were in Barstow, California. I'm stationed there in the middle of the California desert. And we had some people over. And I said, okay, so cook chicken and beef. And then you cook your fried rice and lumpit and pancia. I got that right? Right, pancia. And we'll see what they eat. I'm the only person that took the chicken and beef.
Do you eat leftovers? Because you had leftovers.
I'll eat leftovers. I'll eat leftovers.
Okay.
But I had a lot of chicken. Yeah, that's exactly. I had a lot of beef and chicken in the next couple of days. Yes, the answer to that is yes. And it's just burgers, right? Just grilled burgers and fried chicken. But all that other stuff was gone, like immediately, and my stuff was left over for days. That's exactly right. Then I realized I'm the odd person here. I'm the odd duck.
Well, that does look pretty plain compared to mine. So let's give our potatoes a taste. And
ooh, that is soft in there.
Yeah.
We did cook it in the right amount of time. That's gonna be really hot. See, that's perfect.
So's mine.
I don't know why do you need all that? I mean, really.
Because it's delicious. I like the levels of flavor.
Okay, all right.
But look, here we are. Two totally different appetites, but it's working together. Just
work.
like maybe the Lincoln Party will, if we can get it to 10%.
Ooh, that's really good.
So
we'll get there. We will get there.
All right, awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much
that was
for coming.
Fun.
I appreciate it.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh, good.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.